I'm going to.
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this week's Harmonize to Energize. And today I'm joined with, I'm presenting with, and I'm joined, oh, never mind. Welcome, Manjeeta.
Thank
Manjeeta
you.
Tulsi. And today, if you're completely brand new to the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, I'll just give you a quick run through. JIN SHIN JYUTSU, often pronounced JIN SHIN JYUTSU, is an art of harmonizing life energy, sometimes called life force or prana, as it moves congruently or not through our bodies. And similar to acupuncture, it's based on Asian medical theory. So you have rivers of energy that spiral through the body, which can be regulated by what in JIN SHIN JYUTSU we call safety energy locks and the acupuncturists call points. It was first brought to the West by Mary Eno Burmeister in the 70s. She had learnt from Sensei Jiro Murai, excuse me, I had a glitch. I was about to say Kato, Sensei Jiro Murai from Japan. And she studied with him for several years, I think at least up to 17 years, 5 with him and 12 by correspondence. So the art is really about harmonizing energy as it's moving through those pathways and using points in acupuncture and safety energy locks in JIN SHIN JYUTSU. In JIN SHIN JYUTSU, there's 26 of them left and right of the spine, 3 in the arms. And we help to regulate the flow of energy by placing the palms of our hands, the fingertips, the thumbs, back of hands on these safety energy locks. And these safety energy locks are unique to you in terms of their width. They are the diameter of the palm of your hand. And so it's about a 3-inch space that you can actually place your hands over. And as you place your hands on these energy locks, it sends a message to them to move the energy in a more harmonious alignment. Now, due to our thoughts, words, and deeds, that alignment often falls out. It becomes misaligned. And we have various flows to help us realign. And in particular, one such flow, which we will be delving into today, is the mediator flow. Over to you, Manjeeta.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited about talking about hereditary characteristics. I'm going to read to you page 2 of text 2, what Mary Burmeister wrote. Physiophilosophy, Nature, Effortless Reality, in memory of Master Jiro Murai and my father. JIN SHIN JYUTSU, Cosmic Artless Art of No Help Myself. The 3 universal harmonizing energy, the main central, left and the right major vertical, supervisor, trinity, and the diagonal mediator activating principle, circulation patterns, as well as the 12 individualized body function energy descend and ascend throughout the body. When the 12 individualized body function energy is in balance with universal harmonizing energy, there is perfect harmony within and without the body. However, this perfect harmony may be interrupted by daily eating habits, working habits, hereditary characteristics, too dry or too damp living environment, weather conditions, mental and emotional anxieties, accidents causing bodily injuries, or by injection of poisonous matter into the body. One or more of the 12 individualized body function energy may increase or decrease, stagnate, deviate, reverse, or weave in and out and result in disharmony. Careful attention is then made to find the cause, of the result of disharmony. Know myself, be, it is. So today's topic is hereditary characteristics. We're going to be both presenting, and I'll share 3 different self-help, and then we'll wrap up with answers to some questions. In the last 2 episodes, we focused on food and nutrition and working habits with JSJ Lifestyle. If you've not watched those recordings and would like to, you could find them on YouTube under Soul to Soul Healing or search under my name. Today, our intent is to focus on hereditary characteristics with JSJ Lifestyle, some suggestions, self-help, and how I apply these in my everyday life. Please take what resonates with you and forget about what does not. So the definition of hereditary characteristics are characters that are passed from one generation to another, For example, our hair color, eye color, skin, height of a person, certain health projects like diabetes, etc. Typically, we are more concerned about health hereditary characteristics than physical ones. I believe that our lifestyle, including foods, inner and outer environment, play a big part in hereditary characteristics related to health. And the good news is we have JIN SHIN JYUTSU, both in receiving treatments as well as doing self-help. I'm going to hand it over to Terry. He's going to share a little bit more about JSJ.
Thank you. So can you all see that?
Yes.
So here's a graphic care of Cynthia Broshi. Thank you, Cynthia. Delineating how JIN SHIN JYUTSUists understand the formation of the body. We move in what you could call different dimensions of energy. Mary Burmeister called them depths. We move from the no thing, the 9th depth, to the 8th depth, which is seen as the cause or source of all what is, to the 7th depth, which is light. And then as this light cascades down, it breaks off at a certain point in order to create what is called 6th depth. It's the primal fire of evolution. And this energy moves down the front of the body, up the back of the body, and it spirals up and down several times, and it's bringing the blueprint of who we are. Now, blueprint necessarily includes what we may have been before, those hereditary characteristics. So they're all there at that point, and as the energy is moving central, down the front and up the back, it's beginning to form the spine. And in the understanding of Eastern medical theory or Asian medical theory, sometimes the spine is seen as containing, not always, there are different views apparently, energy centers or chakras, and these energy centers are containing the blueprint of who we be. Now, in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, at a certain point after several movements or spirals of down the front, up the back of the body, there is a movement from the spinal energy between, if you like, the belly button and the pubic area, a breaking off, a spark coming off of that 6th depth, which moves first to the left. The exhale, the primal fire moves from the left. It represents the exhale and the past in JIN SHIN JYUTSU. And as that spiral moves down, it begins to form the left side of the body, the legs, and then it goes from the feet all the way up the back. And it does that maybe 2 to 3 times before it moves over diagonally it's known as the weaving princess, to form the right side of a body. And it starts spiraling down the right side, down the front, up the back. After doing that 3 times, it forms what we understand to be. Yeah, there you are. That's the movement. It's the movement of the energy down the front, up the back, and then down below you can see how it begins to move into 2 separate parts. It's not so clear from this diagram, but the blue, it's more clear here. Supervisor harmonizing energy down in the corner. Let me see if I can move that out the way. There you go. There it is, moving left and then right in blue. So it's forming the left and right sides of the body. After about 3 revolutions, it then forms what we call the mediator. And mediation basically begins on that left side of the body, the energy, and it moves from the left side down to the right, round to the right, and down to the left, back up the right, and down to the right, and then back to from one safety energy lock to safety energy lock 3, all the way in a spiral like that, a diagonal spiral, which incidentally, for those of you that may have some kind of notion of DNA, to me, it looks like a strand of DNA. Anyway, it's moving left and right of the body. And what it's doing is it's bringing the left and right sides of the body together by allowing them to connect always to the main central, that initial spinal chakra energy that's moving down the front, up the back. Are you with me so far? If you're not, I understand. It can get a little confusing. But basically, it's energy densing down and then subdividing. And after it's subdividing, being held together by this mediator flow. And you can see the way it does it. It curves around left to right on a diagonal. And so different instructors have different perspectives on the mediator. I have, for those of you who are interested, main central number 35 here. And I'm going to particularly home in on what Waltraud Rieger-Krause said from Germany. She said that Mary said, densing down into form, Mary Burmeister, densing down into form takes place at the mediator. And she says, I got very confused after my 5th or 6th class with Mary, when all of a sudden she shifted the definition of the Trinity. Before, I heard her saying Trinity is main central supervisor, which we talked about, main central and then the subdivision left and right, and then the mediator bringing it together. Later, I heard her say Trinity is main central, left and right supervisors, and the mediator is the activating principle. So to understand more and more, she said, I see it as both. The mediator is like the Holy Spirit that brings divine energy to man, the bridge from heaven to earth. It is also part of the supervisors, namely the force that connects left and right with the main central. As a bridge, it brings the ingredients of the 7th depth, we talked about the light, and the 6th depth, the spine, to the 5 depth elements of the 5-pointed star, the invisible into the visible. And for those of you that know what the 5-pointed star is, it's the order of creation. And the mediator starting on SEL 3 is resonating with 3rd depth liver energy, which is the energy that forms all the other organ functions in the body. So could it not be that the mediator is bringing from our past, our inheritance, all from the 6th depth, all from the spine and the supervisor, into form all our inherent characteristics? And it's wanting to keep a balance there. However, it can come out of balance, and it doesn't matter whether it came from our ancestors or whether it's present time. If through our lifestyle, what we eat, as Manjeeta has said, our environment, and what we think, say, and do is not too harmonious, the mediator cannot bring that dancing down into form, into harmony. So when we're in JIN SHIN JYUTSU thinking about how we can harmonize ancestral or hereditary or left-sided energy in our body, we can go to those flows that help the mediator. Is that making sense? So left and right sides of the body are now able to meet in the center, and the blueprint of our being in the spine is now going to be harmonized. It's now going to be cleansed and purified. Notice how the mediator incorporates the arms. It moves around through the center over the heart, that core energy where most of our emotions are centered. The mediator is the water element. It emotes. And before we think, there is an understanding that there is an emotional impulse that leads to the thought of being harmonious or not harmonious. So I'll leave you with that to think about the water element of the mediator crisscrossing the body, the fire and the air element. And I'm going to pass you back to Manjeeta, who's going to offer some JIN SHIN JYUTSU ways of harmonizing the mediator.
Thank you. And thanks for putting that slide up of movement order of disharmony. This can help you change your DNA and break the hereditary stream. It's so simple, yet it's so powerful, and you can see how it is affecting the whole body. So I'm going to show you. We're going to use our left side because it helps with the entail. We're going to show you my foot. Sorry, should have worn socks. You're going to take your left hand and you're going to put it to the left 6, which is where the arch is, and the right hand to the left little toe. And you're going to drop your shoulders. Exhale from the top of your head down the front, right to your toes, and then take an inhale up the back to the top of your head. And we're going to do 3 breaths with this. And if you don't want to touch your little toe and the 6 on the left side, you could hold your middle finger and your index fingers, or you can use opposite fingers and toes. I'm going to read to you a quote while we do this. And this quote is from Mary Burmeister from Text 1, page 13. All problems turn into projects. Problems are filled with fears, and projects are filled with fun. Tension, stress is a way for our body to say, I'm not in harmony. I'm out of cosmic rhythm. We simply say, thank you, body, for telling me. I will check into why and how to get circulation pattern into rhythm once again. I love Mary's quotes. They are so amazing. And you could do this daily, twice a day. My suggestion would be to do 20 minutes for each hold. And it takes about, what was it? 18 to what? I'm just looking at how long it takes to change a habit. But it could take, depending on your commitment and your consistency, it could take 21 days. It could take you 3 months. It could take you through 254 days. But the more consistent you are, the easier it is to get into good habits. So I'm going to move on to the next self-help. I'd love to hear how you guys felt with this one. When we are done with sharing all the three. So the second self-help is having your hands, your whole world in your hands. So we're going to just do the left hand, and we're going to hold each finger, each thumb and each finger for 3 breaths. And when we are done with the 5 fingers, we're going to do 3 breaths with the palm as well. And Master Jiro Murai healed himself from terminal illness with self-help, with the mudras, which is the hands. And he was also doing fasting. So let's begin. So drop your shoulders, bow your head, put on a smile, let go of everything that is not, that you could deal with later. Exhale from the top of your head, down the front to your toes, and inhale up the back to the top. And I'm going to be silent so we can enjoy this 18 breaths in total. I'm just going to share a little bit about why we felt that the holding the fingers would be also helpful with the not activating the hereditary characteristics with regard to health, because it helps with your attitude so much. It harmonizes our attitudes, it harmonizes on the depth level, our organs, it goes so deep. And the beauty with the holding the fingers is you could hold them as many times as you can throughout the day, whenever some attitude or some disharmony shows up. And this slide that Terry shares quite a bit as to, I typically tell my clients, I could tell you so much about the fingers, but the best way to find out is to do the self-help of holding the fingers, and you can be your own testimony. So now we're going to do the third self-help, and that is the mediator. And we're going to be doing the left mediator. So I'm going to show you. We're going to take our our right hand, and put it over our shoulder on the left side, and drop your shoulders. And you're going to take your left ring finger and have your thumb over your ring fingernail. And then you're going to put your knees together. And we're going to do 12 breaths with this. Harry, I'm taking the cue from you. Are you done?
No, actually. I think your metabolic rate must be faster than mine. Did you just do 3 at the beginning, by the way?
On the
6 and the little
movement of disharmony?
yeah,
Yes.
instead of 6. Okay. All right.
I'm supposed to do 6. It's so nice to know I'm not perfect.
No, I just wondered if you changed it for a reason.
3 plus
No
6.
worries.
Oh.
At the end, it comes to 33, which is 6, which is balance. And what I'd like to mention, folks, is we began with a 6. And even though, in the little toe, and even though this diagram shows the knees together, you can also place the 6. In this case, it would be the right 6, the right foot against the left 1. And that is the tree in yoga. And What depth are trees related to? Third depth. We're back to mediator, the blood essence, that whole connection with habits, either from the past or the present, and maybe even from the future. And these flows that we've looked at and practiced can help realign the mediator and bring everything back into harmony with the spine, the oneness, the main central. Now, I think I might have mentioned before, let's just, everyone's finished, I'll just stop this. You know, sometimes these attitudes are very much deeper than we can easily begin to transform with 1 or 2 sessions. And as Manjeeta pointed out, maybe it takes 21 days, 90 days, or even longer. Now, 9 is a good one because it's like 9 and 0, end of a cycle, beginning of a new. But I'd like to say, don't get caught up with mindsets around that. You will know when things begin to transform. And an additional practice you might do is, you know, for each of the fingers, there's an attitude, but there's a balance based on how other organs affect the different organs that the finger represents, vis-a-vis the lumbar circle. And for those of you who are familiar with that, you will know what I'm saying. Things can burden. And so sometimes you're going to hold more than one finger to deal with one attitude. We can look at that in a little while if you want. But what I wanted to go back to briefly here was back to the main central, the blueprint. And we put our right hand on the head, but actually the energy comes in the 4s, the window that lets in more light. And by placing the right hand on the head, what you're doing is moving the energy that's stored in the medulla, and from the medulla to the cerebrum, we're moving it down magnetically. We're giving it a push. So you can actually hold the 4s, because that's where the light comes in. And I've also suggested in the past that forgiving forgets you more light. So we're back to this main central blueprint, bringing in more light. Now, if you've got an attitude of you cannot forgive, go through all those attitudes and don't forget the palm. That's the all complete. That's the 26. That brings everything together. And, you know, often we give ourselves a hug by holding the 26s and the 22s. Well, that also allows, certainly the 22s, that allows the 144,000 special function energy to come in to harmony too. So where am I going with this? If it's a struggle for you, you're activating the 4 with that mudra in the mediator flow that we showed, all right? So walk around like this to expand the thoracic cavity, to bring more energy down so that it can crisscross. Because at the end of the day, the secret is the breath. It's how much you exhale and then how much you can receive. So I thought I'd add that little bit. If anyone finds that useful, then go right ahead, practice it. Do you think it was a good idea to look at the extended fingers now, or do you want to talk about something else, Manjeeta?
We can show the extended fingers. If you're dealing with a particular attitude, you could follow the sequence.
Hi, this is Colleen Bolden. I was in the store the other day and they said that you were going to.
Sorry about that. While we do that, I think some questions we might want to ask ourselves. Are we willing to pay attention to our thoughts, attitudes, lifestyle, and incorporate good habits so we can stay healthy and not be concerned with the genes that were handed to us, right? It's with repetition that we could break into a good habit. Yeah, I looked online and it said between 18 to 54 days that you could break into a habit. It's essential, again, to understand that changing a habit is a journey and it could be fun, right? So here's that chart that Terry is sharing. And if you're going to be working with your the worry, you hold your thumb, then your middle finger, and then the little finger. And then if you're working on worry, you hold your thumb, fear, you're going to hold your thumb, your index finger, and then your little finger. And if you're working on anger, then it's the little finger, the index finger.
No, ring.
No, am I turning it around?
Yeah,
Yes.
ring.
The index, so the little finger, the ring finger, and then the middle finger. And then if you're working on the trying to, then you're working on the thumb, the index finger, the middle finger, and then the ring finger.
No, that's sadness and grief.
That's sadness and grief. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
I'm all turned around looking at this.
It's all right.
And then when you're dealing with pretense, that's right. So with pretense, it's am I turned around again?
No, you're right. It's little and ring.
Little and ring. Yeah, because I think I'm looking at this. Maybe it's just me. I do apologize. Terry?
Yeah,
would you like to say anything?
So really, this is just graphically saying, giving you that image of if a habit, an attitude, something you inherited is really taking a while to shift. Mary gave us these additional ways of transforming those particular issues. And it is quite likely that inherited traits will take a little longer because they're a little deeper. You know, our ancestors, the Chinese say, grew the tree and we live in the shade. But if we don't like the shade, we might have to dig down to the root of the issue, dig down to the roots of the tree, and use some of these approaches to begin a deeper level of transformation. But again, don't forget, you're exhaling. You start with an exhale, especially those of you that are new. In JIN SHIN JYUTSU, we let go in order to be filled with the new energy. You don't want to be holding on. And often through fear or misunderstanding, we tend to inhale before. It's like, the kind of shock therapy. Not in JIN SHIN JYUTSU. And obviously, as you become more balanced, which is our number 6, as the mediator harmonizes left and right with the main central, we may naturally sometimes inhale before we exhale. That's okay. But to begin with, have this idea of letting go. And because really, don't you want to be fresh and vibrant and new? And is everything from our ancestors positive? Maybe some of it is, and maybe some of it isn't so positive. Maybe if you believe that you've lived before, or maybe one of your ancestors was Attila the Hun, and maybe you don't want to take some of those qualities. Those of you that may have, been online and given a sample of your sputum or whatever, so that they can look at your genealogy, may have been surprised or may have been happy because it does appear we've picked up all kinds of things from different root races at different times, if you believe what the genealogists are telling. And to be honest, when I had it done, I also had a cousin that had looked at our heritage. And I was both pleasantly confirming something which my cousin had said when I did the sputum test, and then I was also really surprised. And the one that made most sense to me was that I had some heritage, some ancestral linkage with T.E. Lawrence. And for those of you that don't know who T.E. Lawrence is, Lawrence of Arabia. And when I was growing up, when my aunties were still alive, a lot of them were into spiritual aspects of life, philosophy, just like T.E. Lawrence, 7 Pillars of Wisdom. In fact, one of my aunties told me to read that book. And then the other connection I made was with the Semitic races. For some reason, I was always having relationships with Jewish people. And then later, people from Iran. And I used to think, well, that's interesting. I seem to have a lot of relationships with people from the Mideast. So there may be something in those kinds of tests and your heritage, but if they're out of balance, you need to mediate them. You need to breathe out to your left side first, because that's where the energy comes in first, and then balance the right with your mediator back to the main central. You got anything you'd like to add to that, Manjeeta, or something different?
Yes. I would love to share, because I feel this is very empowering. Bruce Lipton, if you don't know him, please look it up. He's actually a scientist, doctor, and this is his quote: "If you believe genes control your life, you are a victim of your hereditary. It is not the genetics, but our response to the environment. Environment means thoughts, upbringing, food. These are all part of the environment. So we can be empowered with JIN SHIN JYUTSU self-help treatments and meditating, minding what's going on in our conscious mind. If we don't, we'll let the subconscious rule our life, and that's where our initial first 5 years of our programming is there." So that's it. If anybody has any questions, that would be great.
Yeah, we've disabled, or I have disabled the chat for a very good reason. It can be distracting. So if you if you have any questions right now, just raise your hand. Oh, Colleen, okay, Colleen.
Yeah.
Oh, I like your tree of life.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
When you were talking about the disharmony flow, you said that I could hold my index and middle finger instead of my feet. I was wondering why that is, the reasoning for that.
Okay, it's basically, there's relationships of all kinds with the fingers, and safety energy lock number 6 can be harmonized by holding the middle finger. We're back to third depth, liver, mediator again, okay? And the little toe can be harmonized at the level of kidney and bladder, where the little toe intersects with the index finger. Does that clarify?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate your help.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, not everybody is going to be able to reach their little toe and their 6 for whatever reason. And sometimes it's okay to just hold the fingers, right? I mean, if you do the same side fingers, you could be looking at it from the point of view of opposite fingers and toes on the supervisor level. If you hold it on the opposite side, it's the opposite fingers, and so that's the mediator. If I were doing it, I would hold the opposite, because again, it's mediator. And that's what's harmonizing, transforming attitudes, habits from the past, or maybe even from yesterday. Who knows? Anybody else got any questions? Aura, do you want to unmute yourself? Hi. Oops.
Aura, we can't hear you. The sound is
Mickey Mouse. I love it. Do it again. You sounded like Mickey Mouse.
Can you try again?
Try again.
Maybe if you could turn on the chat.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to.
Aura, if you could type your question, that would be great because we can't hear you.
Okay, Aura, just chat in your own time. We got plenty of time. We got at least 15 minutes. Okay. Is there anybody else who has a? That's funny. Is there anybody else who's got a question for either one of them or both of us?
She's drawn something, page 49 for baby. Is that right? Is it text 1, text 2, self-help 1, 2, or 3?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
She's talking about page.
Is there something in the chat?
Can you type in the chat, please?
Page 49 of text 2, is that what?
I don't know whether it's text 2.
Yeah, because that would be the movement order of disharmony. Is that what you mean?
She nodding?
I don't know. She's muted. We'll come back to Aura. Gabriella, do you want to unmute yourself? Don't you do a Mickey Mouse on me.
No. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much. It's a fantastic webinar. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Manjeeta and Terry. I have learned a lot. I can't wait to see the replay. I have got 2 questions, please, as a beginner. About the lung capacity. I'm always worried that I'm too fast compared to your exercise and your holding of the fingers. I always finish probably the first one in line compared to you. I'm worried about that the rhythm is too fast. And I worry that then my lung capacity is not good enough. And is it going to improve by doing the exercises? Right, that's my first question. And my second question is about inherited fear, because I have muscle tested myself with Reiki and other modalities. And I know that there is fear in my family tree, and it's inherited. And I've gone yesterday, out of all days, I tested, and it goes down to 17 generations on my mother's side and 25 generations on my father's side. So it was all convoluted around the year 1100 and something, somehow, I don't know. And I want to know if I start clearing with JIN SHIN JYUTSU, so I'm gonna hold, in addition to other exercise, I'm gonna hold thumb, index finger, middle finger, and the small finger for the attitudes, and leave the other ones aside. And it's gonna be this sort of position for 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna do the same for the other hand. So is that correct, what I understood or not?
You know, Mary gave those various protocols.
Yes.
and you're the artist. You could
Right.
hold all of your fingers.
Okay. Yes.
And you could start with the left. You mentioned also the father's side as well. You know, when the body incarnates, the energy is the masculine side of the left, but then
Mhm.
it coming from the unmanifest to manifest. But then when it's manifest, it switches. And so the left becomes the feminine and the right becomes the masculine. Do both. Do both hands, and definitely hold your thumb, because you mentioned worry quite a lot.
Yes.
So
Yes.
definitely do that. And also, I would say you're concerned about, you know, finishing that mudra.
Yes.
The thumb over the ring. Open up the thoracic cavity while you're walking. Do this while you're walking around. Exhale. Inhale. Do it just naturally. And Mary used to do it apparently when she was out walking, especially up inclines. You'll notice when you go up a hill, you need more breath. So you can do that. And don't worry about being faster than anybody else. That's
Okay.
who you are right now. If it feels comfortable for you right now, then that's fine. If it doesn't, then yes, do these practices. You know, consider what you're thinking and eating, and if those thoughts are eating you or whatever, because the metabolism is all about our thoughts and how we digest them. Does that help?
It does, especially that I was in a very bad corner end of November, and I was taken by the ambulance with a cardiac arrest and all sorts of things. And I stayed in hospital for 6 weeks, and I had to lose 30 kilograms of my body weight, which is like 70 pounds. And I'm still trying to reaccommodate me with my own skin. So
Sure.
yes, it is major. It's as if I'm reborn or something. Of course, I am reborn, in my opinion. You know, in a different body, I am
Yeah.
than what it was November. Yeah, and every day I'm doing things. But thank you for this, and I will watch the replay, and I'm going to learn again and again what you both have taught me tonight. I'm really grateful.
Oh, you're welcome. Did you have anything to add, Manjeeta?
I would say, I know you talked about generations of this
Yes.
fear. You
Yes,
can
please.
break this hereditary stream with doing JIN SHIN JYUTSU. You also could, you know, meditate. You could always in your conscious mind to say, I have courage. You know, think about the positive affirmations instead of focusing on the disharmony. You could hold the, you know, thumb,
Yes.
but worry and say, I am at peace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am feeling blissful. And then you could hold your index finger, which is about fear, and you
Yes.
could say, I have courage, and I know I am empowered. So instead of focusing on all those generations, you're going to break the stream, not just for yourself, probably with the generation after you.
Yes. I am concerned about that with the generations after me, because I've got the feeling that if I don't do something to break this and to cleanse the
What a
energies from the
privilege.
past, yes, I have
It
got
is
this
a
mission
privilege.
to do it for my child and from his children. It's my duty to do this, to cleanse,
Yes.
because I'm the only one who knows and practices something. Everybody else is not aware and they don't want to know. It's part of their journey.
Mhm.
I feel sorry that they don't understand what I'm doing, and I've been trying to say so many times, you know, look into knowledge that's been inherited for thousands of years before us, JIN SHIN JYUTSU and Tao, and try to learn as much. Nobody listens. So my duty is to carry on and be the beacon for everybody else.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll support you as much as we can. Okay, Aura. Yes, page 49, text 2. Can changing a baby, can it be changed even before birth? Yes. Yes. 9 months in the womb. If you've studied JIN SHIN JYUTSU, look at what's going on there. 6th depth comes in the first month. So the blueprint, what are you going to do? I would definitely, talk to the mother and ask her if she would like to learn that particular technique based on it harmonizing any characteristics that may come through on the bloodline. You could talk to her, or you could do it on her behalf. You could be a surrogate. You just bring in the image of the person that you want to help. This is the basis of remote healing, or one of the ways to do remote healing. And you could ask her permission, though. You could definitely say, is it okay if I helped you in the stages of the time the baby is in the womb by doing some JIN SHIN JYUTSU, and there's these particular flows which will harmonize any hereditary characteristics, this, that, and the other. If she shrugs her shoulders and says, well, I don't know what all that means, just say, well, trust me, it's innocuous. All I'm doing is allowing energy to flow in a more harmonious way. And most people will go, oh, okay, well, yeah. And then you just say, well, let me know if it's uncomfortable, and off you go. All right, does that help, Aura? Does that help?
She's
Okay.
nodding. Yes.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you. Anyone got any more questions? Or not? Oh, 11:57. Yeah.
Very
I
good.
don't see or hear anything. Okay. All right. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Manjeeta. For
Thank
your
you,
wisdom.
Terry, and thank you, everyone. This was fun. And I
Yes.
feel this is so empowering to know that we have JIN SHIN JYUTSU, self-help, and to also get treatments and working on our mind. And we are empowered to change and break the hereditary stream.
Yeah, so practice makes progress, folks.
Yes.
So find the opportunity when you can to practice. And then the next Harmonize to Energize is the 4th Thursday, when I've got a special guest coming on. And then Manjeeta and myself will be back in June, and then we'll be looking at too dry or too damp living environment, how that can be harmonized with the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU. The replay will be up possibly sooner today than usual, but within 24 to 48 hours. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for your
so much.
support.
Thank you.
Have a
And
wonderful
we will,
weekend. And wonderful
we
week.
will
You.
see you in 2 weeks if you're coming on. And we'll see Manjeeta and myself in 4 weeks, or at least a month. All right, take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
Bye.
you both.
you're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.